The wind howled through the pine trees, carrying with it a bite of cold that could chill bones within minutes. Somewhere high in the mountains, a man in his mid-30s trudged forward, his boots crunching against the snow. His name was Daniel, a single dad raising his little daughter, Emily, in a small cabin he had built with his own hands after life had taken everything else away from him. He wasn't wealthy, not by any means, just a hard-working man who survived on odd jobs, woodcutting, and guiding tourists when the season was right. But what made Daniel different was the quiet strength he carried, the kind that comes from being broken but choosing every day to stand up again, for the sake of someone who depends on you. That evening, as he trekked through the trail searching for firewood before the storm worsened, he heard it, a faint cry. At first, he thought the wind was playing tricks on him, but then it came again, louder, raw with fear. His instincts kicked in, and he followed the sound through the trees until he saw her. A woman, no more than 30, sat half buried in snow near the edge of a cliff, her ankle twisted at an unnatural angle. Her expensive winter jacket was torn, her lips trembling as she tried to call for help. She looked out of place in the wilderness, like someone who didn't belong here. Daniel dropped his bundle of wood instantly and ran to her. "Hey, don't move. I've got you," he said firmly, kneeling beside her. She looked up at him with wide, frightened eyes, relief washing over her face. Without hesitation, he wrapped his coat around her and carefully lifted her into his arms. The snow was falling faster now, thick flakes blinding the path ahead, but Daniel knew these woods better than anyone. He pushed through the storm, every muscle in his body straining, until finally, he reached his small cabin. Inside, the warmth of the fireplace welcomed them. Emily, his 6-year-old daughter, came running, her eyes full of curiosity. "Daddy, who is she?" Emily whispered, tugging at his sleeve. "A guest," Daniel said softly. "Someone who needs our help." For the next few days, the woman, whose name she revealed was Claire, rested in Daniel's cabin. Emily brought her blankets, read her bedtime stories, and insisted on helping with everything from cooking to fetching water. Slowly, the icy fear in Claire's eyes melted into gratitude. What Daniel didn't know was that Claire wasn't just any woman. She was one of the wealthiest young billionaires in the country, heiress to a vast empire of hotels and investments. But in this humble wooden cabin, stripped of titles and fortune, she was simply Claire, a woman who had never before experienced such genuine kindness. Claire watched Daniel closely in those days. She saw how he struggled, quietly sacrificing for his daughter. He ate less so Emily could eat more. He wore the same worn-out boots, patched over and over, yet smiled as if nothing was wrong. She saw how Emily's eyes shone with joy despite having so little, because she had everything that mattered, her father's love. One evening, as the storm finally began to clear, Claire sat by the fire and whispered, "Why do you live like this? You're strong, smart, you could be in the city, earning more, giving your daughter the world." Daniel looked at her, his gaze steady. "I tried that life once. I lost myself in it. But here, I can give Emily something money can't buy, peace, honesty, a father who's truly present. The world may look at us and see nothing, but she looks at me and sees everything. That's enough." His words struck Claire's heart like lightning. For the first time in years, she questioned her own world of wealth and power. She had everything money could buy but felt emptier than ever, until now, when she sat in a simple cabin with a man who had almost nothing yet lived richer than anyone she had known. By the time her injury healed and she was ready to leave, something inside Claire had shifted. She promised she'd return, though Daniel didn't quite believe her. But she did. Again and again. Each time, she brought little things, books for Emily, better shoes for Daniel, warm coats, tools for the cabin. At first, Daniel resisted, proud and unwilling to accept charity. But Claire wasn't offering charity, she was offering friendship, and slowly, something more. Months passed, and their bond deepened. Emily adored Claire, often asking if she could stay forever. Daniel, though cautious, couldn't deny how his heart softened whenever Claire laughed, or when he caught her watching him with unspoken admiration. But he always reminded himself, she was from a world far above his own. He was a single dad in the mountains, she was a billionaire whose life stretched across skyscrapers and boardrooms. Yet fate doesn't care for titles. One evening, as they sat outside under the stars, Claire finally told him the truth about who she was. Daniel was stunned, his pride wounded. He pulled back, afraid their worlds could never truly meet. But Claire looked him straight in the eyes and said, "Daniel, all my wealth means nothing compared to what I found here. You rescued me that day, but more than that, you showed me what life really is. I don't want to change you or Emily. I just want to be part of your world, if you'll let me." Daniel was silent for a long moment, the firelight flickering across his rugged face. Finally, he looked at Emily, who had fallen asleep with her head resting on Claire's shoulder. In that moment, he realized the truth: this wasn't about money, or status, or pride. It was about family, love, and second chances. And so, Daniel let down the walls he had built around his heart. What began as a rescue in the mountains grew into something neither of them had expected. A love story that defied the boundaries of wealth and status. Claire didn't just transform Daniel's life with her resources.